Hello to all astrology lovers. Today, we are discussing the upcoming new moon in the sign of the zodiac Scorpio. It will take place on November 1st at 1446, our time in 9 to 10 degrees of the sign. In general, before we examine the characteristics of this full moon, let's discuss what this astrological event is and how it manifests in our lives. Firstly, the new moon is an astrological event when the moon and the sun align in the same zodiac sign, positioned at the same point in the sky from the perspective of an observer on Earth. At this moment, the moon is located between the Earth and the sun. Its illuminated side is not visible, and it appears to be disappearing. The new moon always opens. The new cycle lasts 29.5 days. And overall, the new moon activates energies in our lives that are related to the beginning of everything new. This means it is a time for launches, planning, and manifesting our desires and intentions. The energies of the new moon are considered the beginning and symbol of new beginnings, new desires, and plans. It is like a blank slate, a time when we can make any wishes and build plans. Moreover, the new moon strongly focuses us on our intuition. It creates a deep inner focus because it is during the new moon that the sun and moon align. This aspect always brings us events, but in addition, I call it a kind of bridge when our consciousness connects with our subconscious. We are receiving a completely new volume of information that will manifest for us in the next period, which will mark a specific new moon. Naturally, the characteristics of the new moon's manifestation and its energies depend on the specific sign in which it occurs, as well as in which house of the horoscope this astrological event is realized. Here we can already look at our individual natal charts and understand which area of life the new moon will specifically activate in the next 5 to 6 months. Furthermore, I believe that new moons are essentially a monthly reboot of our lives when we can start something anew, restart something, or basically launch or begin from scratch. It should be noted that the moon is a manifestation of our psyche, our subconscious. Therefore, it is very important to pay attention to your inner voice during this period. And now let's consider the specific characteristics of this new moon. It occurs in the sign of the zodiac, Scorpio. What does this mean for each of us in general? The new moon in Scorpio is a period that will be filled with very deep transformations, profound emotional renewals, and our rebirth, because symbolically it represents the 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio, the house of personal changes and transformations. In astrology, it is primarily associated with spirituality, themes of death and rebirth, and themes of personal change. The 8th house also represents resources. It is a theme of intimate relationships, closeness, and it is a theme of esotericism. If it is relevant for someone, the 8th house here also opens certain opportunities. That is, it is the house of trust, the house in which we encounter very deep psychological and emotional processes that always lead us to personal rebirth. It is important to note that this new moon in Scorpio opens a period for us until May 12, 2025. The growing moon lasts until November 15, 2024, and we have 2 weeks. In order to manifest your intentions, plan something new, launch something, set new goals and tasks, we will specifically look at which area of the horoscope this event will occur for each of you. And now let's take a closer look at what energies this new moon in Scorpio activates, what themes it raises, and what life situations it can generally create. First of all, I would like to remind you that this is a theme of transformation and rebirth. It is a process of destroying the old in order to make room for the creation of the new. And here this new moon can renew perspectives and let go of what no longer serves us. This is about courage, about the depth of emotions, about sensuality, about intuition. These are all the energies of Scorpio that we will bring to the surface during the action of this new moon. And the main themes that will be activated, of course, are personal emotional boundaries, especially in relationships. This is a topic about working with the shadow side of our personality. Here, about internal fears, about hidden motives, about some concealed emotions. It is during this new moon that we have the opportunity to get rid of toxic connections and relationships, restore balance in important, meaningful relationships for us, or renew them. In addition, the theme of control and ownership of resources will come to the forefront here. The topic of finances, shared resources, the topic of debt obligations, the topic of financial stability, security. For many of us, this new moon will encourage a reassessment of these areas of our lives. When it comes to possible life situations, there are situations related to relationships and the expression of emotions within those relationships. These are themes of some hidden grievances, themes of unresolved issues with close people in relationships. This is a very suitable period for sincere conversations, either about the topic of separation or about the renewal of relationships. This is a very good time to reassess your financial approach to life. It is a very good time to engage in this. Personal projects and career are also influenced by the 8th house, which is responsible for entrepreneurship and investments. Therefore, this is a good period, especially for launching these aspects of life. The new moon in Scorpio occurs at the 9th and 10th degrees, which also carries certain symbolism of deep personal transformation. It will be important for us to uncover the hidden aspects of our soul and our desire to understand the mysteries of life. Speaking of the symbolism of degrees, according to the Sabian symbols, the 9th degree in Scorpio demonstrates to us a picture of how a dentist works, a picture that emphasizes the importance of removing what may disrupt our inner or outer harmony. That is, this is the degree of liberation from discomfort, from painful situations and habits that hinder our spiritual or emotional growth. It symbolizes purification and the opportunity to strengthen one's personal core. Speaking of the 10th degree of Scorpio, this degree perhaps shows us a symbol depicting deep sea divers who are collecting pearls. That is, the emphasis here is already on diving into one's subconscious to search for the pearl of wisdom that is hidden beneath the surface. That is, this symbol inspires us to explore the depths of our psyche and to be ready for risk, for the sake of a valuable outcome and achieving awareness specifically through inner searches. If we summarize the energy of the new moon in these degrees of Scorpio, we can understand that the focus is on attaining entirely new levels of understanding through emotional and spiritual cleansing, through the search for valuable experiences deep within one's subconscious. Yes, this period is very much synchronized with the 8th house, and this cycle encourages us to free ourselves from some old discomfort and from some pains, some fears, grievances. This is a period when we can intuitively discover some of our hidden talents and inner gifts that were previously inaccessible to us and apply them to renew ourselves and move forward in life. And if we talk about the ruler of this new moon, this time there are two, the planet Pluto and the co-ruler Mars. This creates a very interesting twist for this new moon because at the moment of the exact conjunction of the moon and the sun, these two planets are in opposition. Pluto has been direct since October, but it is still in Capricorn, while Mars is located in the sign of Cancer and also in the last degrees, just like Pluto. Be sure to pay attention to which houses of the horoscope these two planets are located in for you. It is important to note that if these planets do not create an opposition in your personal chart, do not attribute that aspect to yourself. So, to begin with, what do we have with Pluto in the last degrees of the sign of Capricorn? Here symbolizes the 29 to 30 degrees of Capricorn, representing the culmination of a very long cycle of deep transformations in the structures and foundations of our lives. Pluto in the final degrees of Capricorn carries a very powerful energy of completion and transformation, especially regarding issues of power and control. This concerns stable system, both in society and in the personal lives of each of us. This degree is associated with the farewell to outdated structures and views that require a very strong radical renewal. Here, we experience a kind of removal of such old forms, creating space for a new approach to life and for transformation. Pluto in this position intensifies the new moon, focusing our attention on the necessity of implementing these deep changes, particularly regarding issues of responsibility, discipline, and social roles. And of course, a wise approach to these changes is needed here. Speaking of the second co-ruler, Mars, it is also located at 29 to 30 degrees of the zodiac sign Cancer, where the focus is on very strong emotional drives and the culmination of our internal conflicts related to themes of safety, family, relationships, and emotional attachments. Here, Mars in Cancer completes a cycle specifically related to the protection of personal boundaries and the need to safeguard oneself and loved ones. This is, of course, accompanied by a very strong sense of vulnerability and emotional tension. These degrees enhance the determination to protect one's values and emotional boundaries, but at the same time, they require letting go of outdated forms of dependency or excessive caution in our lives. Mars in this position emphasizes the importance of finding a balance between actively defending one's boundaries and values and addressing the needs of those around us, especially in the context of family and close relationships. Considering that this is an opposition, it is the opposition of the two rulers of this new moon. And of course, the aspect creates a very powerful such energies of tension between the desire for control and stability and our emotional needs, our defensive reactions. That is, it is an aspect of such deep internal and external struggle where each of us has to confront a conflicting situation related to duty and emotional attachment between social demands and personal needs. The energy of opposition activates hidden fears and compels us to address issues of power and control. And this can manifest in work, in relationships, in family, in marriage, and in business relationships, absolutely in any sphere. Of course, the opposition activates key themes such as the theme of controlling vulnerability, the theme of very intense emotions and tension. And speaking of situations, conflicts will arise in relationships, especially related to family and work, where completely different needs and expectations collide. For example, professional ambitions and the need to maintain some emotional connection with loved ones. There will be situations related to tests of endurance and maturity. Situations will be created here for the transformation of one's personal boundaries, and the position will prompt each of us to reconsider our personal boundaries in relationships. It is important to choose your personal needs and not to compromise them for the sake of external obligations, debts, or circumstances. Now let's consider the aspects that are at play during this new moon in Scorpio. Of course, Pluto and Mars will complement the opposition. Another opposition is the aspect between the two academic nodes. This is the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra, 6 to 7 degrees. And of course, this aspect highlights the energetic transition from seeking harmony and dependence on the opinions of others to the theme of self-assertion and initiative. The aspect creates conditions where we are forced to seek a balance between comfort and the necessity to act independently, following our own desires and goals. The South Node in Libra symbolizes our past habits and behavioral patterns related to yielding, striving for compromise, and a focus on partnership. The North Node in Aries requires the development of individuality, confidence, and decisiveness. The main themes of this aspect are, of course, dependence and independence, the theme of initiative and personal power, and the possible situations that will arise for each individual. Of course, this involves various challenges in relationships, the theme of career and personal growth through active actions related to the North Node in Aries. This theme is about achieving inner balance, when we need to overcome some dependency on others' opinions and the desire to be good for everyone, alongside our personal need for self-expression. In Aries, we strive to put ourselves first. It is also worth paying attention to two oppositions: the opposition of Venus in Sagittarius and retrograde Jupiter in Gemini, as well as Mercury in Scorpio and retrograde Uranus in Taurus. The Venus-Jupiter aspect gives us energetic tension between our thirst for freedom in relationships and our philosophical views, along with the theme of revising beliefs that can be either very superficial or unreliable. Here, retrograde Jupiter works for us. Venus in Sagittarius seeks a broad perspective, openness, and inspiration, which can manifest in the search for different experiences and romantic opportunities. Retrograde Jupiter here emphasizes the need to return to the roots, to explore the roots of a situation or problem, to examine the details, and to rethink existing views or approaches. And of course, the aspect gives us conflict, an internal conflict, especially in the themes of love and finances. And here, of course, there may be impulsiveness and a certain lightness due to Venus, but retrograde Jupiter, of course, brings us back to reevaluating personal values and priorities. And another aspect is Mercury and retrograde Uranus. Here, there is a clash between intense deep thinking related to Mercury and the desire for a breakthrough, innovative, and transformative unconventional thinking. And since Mercury is in Scorpio, it tends to be very detail-oriented in its analysis, almost like in Virgo, but even deeper, based on an intuitive perception. And here, there is a very strong desire to uncover some hidden true motives, especially in situations that are very superficial. Retrograde Uranus in Taurus is certainly pulling us towards super radical changes through some unexpected insights, and these themes may relate to our material stability and established habits. Uranus in Taurus creates opposition that brings sudden insights or situations where information surfaces very unexpectedly, prompting us to reconsider old beliefs or previously made decisions. This all manifests in communications and conflicts related to Mercury, and, of course, it is important to be very flexible and ready to embrace these changes here and now in order to make completely new decisions. However, at the time of the new moon in Scorpio, harmonious aspects are also at work. The most important of these are the trines. Trine of Tuna, trine of Tuna, trine of Tuna, Tuna of Mercury, and Mars, which organize for us in the sky a large trine, such a large triangle that provides a very powerful combination of energies, activating our intuition and creating a deep emotional interaction among those around us. I remind you that retrograde Neptune in Pisces directs our attention to the theme of the inner world, intuition, and creative self-expression, as well as some of our feelings and ideals. Mercury in Scorpio enhances our analytical abilities, allowing us to penetrate the essence of things and find hidden meanings in any communication. Mars in Cancer emphasizes the theme of protecting our values, emotions, and boundaries. This combination of energies contributes to the formation of situations where intuition and empathy become very important tools in all types of relationships. Additionally, creative solutions to problems related to our emotions can be found here, and inspiration in art and various forms of creativity can manifest strongly. Conflicts can also be resolved by using these energies very gently. Furthermore, we continue to work with the 3 harmonious aspects we discussed earlier in other videos. They provide us with very powerful supportive energies to help us navigate these transformations more easily. It is also important to note that the Sun, at the time of the new moon, represents our consciousness and is in a trine with the planet of karma, retrograde Saturn in Pisces. And the trine gives us a very harmonious connection between our personal transformations and discipline, according to Saturn. The Sun in Scorpio will guide us towards self-discovery, our emotional experiences, and the desire for transformation. The retrograde storm will bring focus to rethinking your duties, responsibilities, boundaries, and analyzing past experiences to find completely new, mature approaches to your goals and life situations. Therefore, the trine is very good. The supportive energy gives us an activation of personal power, but with a structural support from Saturn. And the moon is also in this aspect in relation to Saturn. Here, the influence occurs at the level of the subconscious, at the level of our psyche. So, the energies of this aspect can be very well utilized to our advantage. Now, let's consider the new moon in Scorpio, separately for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Dear Gemini, the new moon in Scorpio falls in your 6th house of the horoscope, highlighting themes of work, daily responsibilities, and health. This is a time when you can start a new chapter in these areas of life. Everything related to work, relationships with your subordinates or your superiors, and your health can be initiated now. You can start some wellness programs or improve aspects of your life on both physical and emotional levels. The energies will support deep changes and transformations. You may rethink your work processes, perhaps methods of self-care, or interactions with your colleagues. This new moon will provide a push for a more serious approach to these areas of life. At the same time, the new moon may create situations related to changes in your work environment and your team. It could be a job change, a promotion, or a change in working conditions. New habits, routines, daily schedules, work schedules, new diets, and sports can be implemented here. This new moon allows you to launch and implement new opportunities. Situations will be created here for deep self-analysis related specifically to your goals in these areas of life. And of course, the topic of increased stress resilience, especially in the workplace or related to some routine obligations at home. There will be situations arising that will be somewhat tense for you, and in order to work through the energies of this new moon, you need to set new goals related to your work, your health, and the optimization of your daily responsibilities. Additionally, it is very beneficial to practice gratitude through written exercises and to engage in energy practices. Be sure to find time for rest and plan this time, as it is very important according to the 6th house. Practice meditation and any spiritual practices that help reduce stress. Speaking of the positions of the rulers of this new moon, they affect your 8th and 2nd houses, which relate to resources and finances. The theme of emotional closeness and security is influenced by Pluto in your 8th house, while Mars is in your 2nd house. This will lead to situations related to conflicts between resources and your emotional needs, which will also reflect on your personal finances or self-esteem. Tensions will arise in financial matters, and there will be a clash between personal desires and changes related to the needs of those around you. Here, it is very beneficial to work on some of your deep-seated fears, resentments, and suppressed emotions related to the 8th house of the horoscope. Moreover, this is also the house of esotericism and spiritual practices. It is a very good period. I wish you success. Use its energy to your advantage and subscribe, like, and share this video. See you.